Okay guys, so I'm going to review your Unit 1 test with you. With this type of a problem, understand right here is your equal sign. So what I want to do is find the common denominator and multiply both fractions by it so that I can get rid of the fractions. That's your number one goal. Always want to get rid of the fractions. They're too hard to work with. Well, what is the smallest number that goes into 6 and 3 evenly? Think about that. The smallest number. Well, I'll start with the number 1. Does 3 go into 1 evenly? No. 2. Does 3 go into 2 evenly? No. 3. Does 3 go into 3 evenly? Yes. But now let's look over here. Does 6 go into 3 evenly? No. What about 4? Neither one go into it evenly. What about 5? Neither one go into it evenly. What about 6? 3 goes into 6 evenly, and 6 goes into 6 evenly. So that is your common denominator. So we're going to multiply everything by 6. Now, if your denominator is the same as the number you're multiplying by, they just cancel out. Of course, this can become a 6x. Here, I have to multiply 20 by 6, and then I have to divide it by 3. So I go into my calculator, and I'm going to put 20 times 6, enter, and I'm going to divide that by 3, and I get 40. So now what I have is a 40 equals 6x plus 19. Now understand this. When you multiply by the common denominator, you have to multiply everything by the common denominator, or you will get it wrong. Now I'm going to subtract 19. 10 minus 9 is 1. That becomes a 3, so that's 21 equals 6x, because that's gone. Divide by 6. And now I have to say, well, there's no answer here. So let me simplify. Does 3 go into 21? Sure it does. 3 goes into 21 7 times. Does 3 go into 6? It goes in twice. 7 over 2 is your answer. Next problem. I want you to notice how this one is different than this one. Here, I have a fraction equals a fraction. Here, I have a fraction equals an unknown plus a fraction. An unknown plus a fraction. So what I'm going to do down here, I couldn't have done up here. Here, I only have 2 fractions. So really the easiest thing for me to do would be to cross multiply. So that would be 6 times 4 and 6 times m. So that gives me a 24 plus 6m equals. Now I'm going to cross multiply here, and that gives me a 15. Now my fraction is gone. Take away 24. That's gone. Bring down your 6m equals, and what's 15 minus 24? Negative 9. Divide by 6, and m equals. Now I have to simplify this, and by the way, y'all, your calculator will do that for you. So in your calculator, if you put in negative 9 divided by 6, and you hit enter, it's going to give you a decimal. If you hit the math button and enter 2 times, it will give you the simplest fraction, which is negative 3 over 2, which is C. All right, next problem. The lengths, trying to figure this out here. The lengths The lengths of the sides of a triangle are consecutive odd numbers. What is the length of the longest side if the perimeter is 45? Well, first of all, you better understand it's asking you for the length of the longest side. They're only giving you the longest side. You're going to have to find all of them, but they only want the longest. So if they're consecutive odd, my first one is always called x. My second one would be x plus 2, because from any odd number to the next odd number, you're going to have to add 2. And then the next one will be plus 4, because you have a pattern going here. So now I know what my integers are, and it says the lengths of them are consecutive odd. So that means x plus 2, because it doesn't tell me twice the smallest or 3 times the largest. Doesn't say any of that, so I don't have to do all that. Plus x plus 4, and it says the perimeter, all the sides together, equal 45. Now I've got 3x plus 6 equals 45. Now take 6 away. 3x equals 5 minus 6. Is that 39? And divide by 3. So x is going to equal 13. That means up here where you named them, that's why you name them separately. This is going to be 13. This is going to be 15. This is going to be 17. It wanted the longest side, so you have to pick 17, which is D. All right. Now the next one, find 2 consecutive integers such that, now this one's going to start saying this crazy stuff. Larger is 8 less than twice the smaller, so you can't just put them all together equaling something. So it's talking about consecutive. Now on this one there was a problem, because I say consecutive, but when you look down here you see they're consecutive even. So this should have said consecutive even. A lot of the kids caught this. I was very impressed. Consecutive even. So I know I have x plus 2, x plus 4. Why? Because to any even number, to get to the next one, you would have to add 2. And then to get to the next one, you have to add another 2, which is now 4. Okay? Now you've got to read the problem. Such that the larger is x plus 4, is 8 less than. 8 less than means 8 has to be less than, so I'd put 8 over here and a minus in front. Excuse me, twice the smaller. The smaller is x. Twice the smaller. So now I have it set up, and now I can solve it. So I'm going to subtract 2x. I just like putting my variables on the left. Negative x plus 4 equals negative 8. I'm going to subtract 4. Negative x equals negative 12. So x equals positive 12. Well, if that's 12, then that must be 14, and that must be 16. Oh, never mind. I wasn't even supposed to do 3 of them. Did I do 3? I did. I messed that up. Oh, hold up. It was only 2, and y'all might have caught that while I was doing it, trying to tell me in the video. Scratch this. We're only using x and x plus 2. So let's go again. X plus 2. Jesus. Nope, that's not the same either. Okay. Such that the larger, which is x plus 2, is 8 less than twice the smaller. So I'm going to take away the 2x. Negative x plus 2 equals negative 8. I'm going to take away 2. Negative x equals negative 10, so x equals positive 10. So this one is 10, and this one is 12. So my answer is B. Okay, so our next one, number 5. On this one, we have to solve for x. Here's my equal sign. I can go ahead and get rid of the fraction, but if I do, I have to multiply it by everything. Or I can add 3 to both sides and just get that moved on over, which is what I'm going to do. So now I've got x over 4 equals -1. Is that right? And then I know that I can multiply by the denominator, but I have to do it to both of them. They cancel. X equals -4. Number 6. Number 6 is a literal equation. And I told you to make sure before you do anything else, if you have to distribute, distribute. And then after that, we're going to get rid of the fractions. So 1/2 h times b is 1/2 hb plus 1/2 h times c is 1/2 hc. It wants me to solve it for b. First thing I'm going to do A equals, there we go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the fractions. And how do I get rid of the fractions? I multiply by the common denominator. In this case, it's 2. But you have to multiply everything by 2. You have to do it to all of them. This becomes a 2a equals. These 2's cancel out, leaving just hb. Plus, these 2's cancel out, leaving just hc. Wants me to solve for b. Well, I'm going to eventually have to separate these guys, but that should be your very last step. What else is there to do over there? We got to get rid of that. It's a positive. We're going to take away hc. So now I have 2a minus hc equals hb. Once again, I'm solving for b. One last step, I got to separate these guys. I do it by division. Divide by h. Divide by h. Now, something I want you to understand. This is the same as saying 2a over h minus hc over h. Well, what happens to these two h's? They cancel out, don't they? Those cancel, leaving me with 2a over h minus c. 2a over h minus c. There's your answer. The next problem.